Welcome to the Realistic Fiction Reading Unit preview. I'm excited to have you here. This resource has been a labor of love and has been a dream of mine to provide reading curriculum for middle school teachers and students. So I'm excited to show you exactly what you would receive when purchasing this unit. The reading unit's introduction can be found in the preview for this reading unit. So go ahead and check that out. It lays out exactly what's included and answers some common questions that you may have. I want to take you into the teacher resources that are included for this unit. So there's a page for taking anecdotal notes on students across the unit, a rubric for assessing oral reading fluency, a before the unit planning checklist, an interactive read aloud guide and common questions answered, links to Screencastify videos where all of the 20 mini lessons included. There's 5-minute lessons that you can include in your virtual classroom. You could flip your classroom and make a playlist. You could provide an alternate way for students to view the lesson, and also great for distance learning. Additionally, you'll get access to a private Facebook group that will support you in the implementation of the middle school reading units, a place to track student data across the unit, a reading unit assessment guide, and a reading unit structure. That's a great thing to print out and just have up and be a daily reminder of what the structure of the reading units, the daily reading workshop is that you're going through. Additionally, you will receive resources on reading conferences, and you will get a sheet that will just lay out the structure of a reading conference, as well as questions that you can use for all 20 of the mini lessons. They're written specifically for each mini lesson to complement when students are learning each day. The small group reading instruction folder is going to provide information for you on 3 main different small group reading instructions that you can provide to students. So there is a sheet that's just going to help you decide which small group reading instruction is best for you, or maybe how can you mix up the small group reading instruction that you use across the year. For guided reading, you are going to receive an editable guided reading calendar, guided reading lesson plans, a rubric, guided reading bookmarks, and then a how to plan a guided reading lesson, where I've broken down all the different pieces of a guided reading lesson and just given you exactly what you need to help plan that lesson. For literature circles, I provided you with how to plan literature circles, literature circle book choice editable sheet, a discussion point template for students, an editable literature circle calendar, a literature circle discussion structure, group norms, preparation form for students, a rubric, a student bookmark, and a self and peer evaluation sheet. So everything you need to get literature circles going in your classroom. And last but not least, I did reading strategy groups, which are my new favorite small group instruction. I'm excited to share this with you. So this would be, how do you plan for reading strategy groups? Questions that you can ask students that are, once again, specific to each mini lesson during those reading strategy groups. A reading strategy group choice board for students to choose their books. The reading strategy group structure. And this is the calendar with a template where you can put in of which group you're meeting with and when, reading strategy groups rubric, and bookmark. So once again, that small group instruction contains a ton of resources for you to get that small group instruction going in your classroom. Now I'm going to just show you the reading unit plans. So there is a reading unit plan that's just like the overall unit where it shows the 20 different mini lessons that are in the unit. There's also one for a teacher view. So this is where you can go ahead and put in the dates you're going to teach each lesson, as well as your interactive read aloud plan across the unit. There is a teacher view example of what that could look like. And then there is also a student view of something that you could print out for students to keep in their binders and track their progress across the reading unit as well. The last part in here, the realistic fiction books. So I just want to show you that I used a variety of realistic fiction books across this unit. So I'm just going to page through this quick and just show you, I didn't use just one book. I used a ton of different realistic fiction books across the unit to model the different mini lessons. And then also I compiled a list of recommendations for interactive read aloud, as well as book sets if you choose to do small group instruction. Now I'm going to get into the main event and show you the 20 different mini lessons. I'm just going to hop into one to show you an example. So for every mini lesson, there is an editable docs folder. So it has each piece of the mini lesson in an individual document that can be editable for you, as well as the PDF documents in separate documents. Additionally, you can go in to the lesson, and I'll just pull one up to show you, and it has everything attached together, where if you're a binder teacher, you can easily print out all the resources included within each lesson. So each lesson is going to come with just the mini lesson statement, a teaching point for you to introduce the lesson and introduce the concept of the day. It will list out what the reference sheet is and give you a question that you can ask students to connect to the daily mini lesson. One piece of this is the oral reading fluency. So next comes that, and it has a mini lesson connection question. Students are in partners reading aloud to each other. Next up, the interactive read aloud. So this gives you talking points to use during the interactive read aloud to help you plan out where your stopping points are going to be, what types of questions you can ask, or what types of things you can ask students to do across that interactive read aloud, questions that you can ask them before and after the read aloud. It'll give you exactly what to do for the modeling. And then for the have a go, where you're releasing that responsibility out to students, it'll give them something to either take that first step toward the application or something to work out in partners. And then an application for students to apply the mini lesson concept that was taught for that day. Each mini lesson also includes specific questions for reading conferences or those reading strategy small groups. And those are written specifically for the mini lesson to reinforce that concept for the day. And last but not least, the mini lesson ends with a share. So it has a share out question and ways that you could have students share out. Every mini lesson comes with a reference sheet. These reference sheets could be printed out and put into a student binder, glued into an interactive notebook. They could be made into an anchor chart for your classroom walls. But every single mini lesson comes with a reference sheet that helps students reinforce that concept of the day, something that they can refer back to help them remember what it was all about and help guide their thinking. Additionally, every mini lesson comes with a PowerPoint. So this is just an example of what a PowerPoint would look like, with the beginning slide, the mini lesson statement, the starter question, a visual of the reference sheet, the oral reading fluency, the interactive read aloud, breaks down exactly what students are going to have to do with their formative assessment for the day. So that's the modeling. For every mini lesson, I've also did an example of what a completed exit ticket for that formative assessment would look like. And once again, I used a variety of books to show that. So this is just an example of one of the exit tickets that I completed for the book Ghost by Jason Reynolds, that have a go slide. And then the application. So just reminding students, now it's your turn to complete the exit ticket. Students read their realistic fiction book after the completion of their exit ticket and come back at the end to share. Every mini lesson comes with an exit ticket, as well as a proficiency rubric, which breaks down the meets proficiency, approaches proficiency, minimal proficiency, and shows no evidence, and breaks down exactly where students would fall in each one of those categories. And this is written specific to each formative assessment for each mini lesson. So there's 20 different proficiency rubrics in this resource, as well as you saw in the PowerPoint, but the modeling for each mini lesson. So there you go. I hope that gives you a little bit more information about what you would be receiving if this reading unit was purchased. If you have further questions, please do not hesitate to contact me, ask me a question on Teachers Pay Teachers. I will get back to you. You can email me at kbkiehl, K-I-E-H-L, @gmail.com if you have further questions as well. Thank you so much for your interest in this resource, and I look forward to hearing from you.